Thank you, Deputy Speaker, who is our director of the program today, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, and the Honorable Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe, former President F.W. de Klerk, former Deputy President Balega Mbete, ministers and deputy ministers, Inkosi Zwelivelile, who is leading the delegation of the Mandela family. The Mandela family, abathembu abahle, representative of the Tambo family, honorable members of the National Assembly, and members of the legislature who may be present with us here, delegates to the National Council of Provinces, premiers, representatives of all political parties who are in our democratic parliament, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, fellow South Africans. Let me abuse this privilege as one of the old men around the village. I just want, given the fact that we are celebrating 20 years of freedom and democracy, and we are remembering how this came about, and I would like to say to former President de Klerk, because at times people say, why are we recognizing him as a former deputy president, not former president? And others ask the question the other way around. And I'm sure it should be remembered, since we are celebrating our 20 years of democracy, that President de Klerk was the last president of apartheid government. And it was him, and through him, that we're able to make the breakthrough to create the conditions to create the conditions for the birth of a new democracy. He was part of it. And I'm sure you'll recall that in the process of negotiations, he had an occasion, a very tough task, I must say, to be on the other side of President Mandela in the negotiations. Now, I can't tell you the details what happened in some of the interactions. The one I remember very well was when we discussed the point that the ANC should now stop armed struggle. It was one of the toughest of all of them. And I think we arrived at the final point at 1 a.m. I didn't envy him, faced with Madiba, who was squeezing out every compromise from him. And I think it was because of his appreciation of the fate where the country was, that at times he agreed on points that some would not have agreed. At one point after Boipatong, the ANC put 10 points, very tough points to accept. With others, negotiations would have broken. But I think he had something more than just the positions of his party, the country. And I think on this important occasion, it is important to remember that and recognize him. And again, history in South Africa is unique. The last president of the apartheid government, he became one of the first two presidents of the new democracy. And this is a distinction that at times we make when we make the recognition. When at times we don't say former president, we say former deputy president. Because at that time we are thinking about this democratic government. But indeed, F.W. de Klerk, our former deputy president, played a very pivotal role. And I'm sure those who must have seen the current film that is playing how much we averted a disaster in the country. He led generals. He led some of the generals who would have been ready to receive a negative order, but he didn't. Even his general were plotting against him, as we now hear, to capture him together with Madiba to south of Angola, to come out with an agreement that they would like. So I think it's important to remember him as we today honor Madiba. That's an abuse I wanted to make, director of the program. Partly because South Africans, because they've got a wonderful country, they've forgotten where we come from and how much we avoided disaster in our country and allowed this beautiful democratic country to be born. Director of the program, we have gathered for an important occasion, the launch of the 20 years of a democratic parliament program and the unveiling of the bust of our beloved founding president, His Excellency Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Today's activities demonstrate just how far our country has come since 1994. Just a few years ago, it would have been unthinkable to install a bust or any symbol of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela in the South African Parliament. Madiba was then regarded as a persona non grata by the regime and the Parliament. The South African people were told that he was a terrorist and a prisoner that they should forget about. Thus, there can be no better 20th anniversary gift for South Africans than to have this symbol of Madiba in our parliament. The unveiling of this bust confirms that our parliament, which was once a symbol of white domination, has now been transformed into a progressive institution that upholds the values of unity, equality, freedom, and the dignity of all South Africans. As we celebrate freedom and democracy, we recall that it is this very parliament that played a key role in dismantling apartheid laws. During the first 10 years of democracy, 789 laws or amendments made here aimed at reconfiguring South African society were approved by the Democratic Parliament. Thanks to the implementation of many of these laws, we are able to say that South Africa is a much better place to live in today. In paying such a powerful tribute to Madiba, Parliament is reminding us of what Madiba stood for, which includes, among others, equality, justice, human rights, reconciliation, forgiveness, and unity. The Democratic Parliament continues to be the custodian of the aspirations of all South Africans, housing representatives who are elected every 5 years by our people. Given the extensive public participation and consultation processes, Parliament continues to work with the rest of society to contribute to the national effort to build a better life for all. Indeed, Parliament continues to promote Madiba's legacy. We take this opportunity to thank all political parties represented in this Parliament for working together to ensure that this Parliament, this important institution of our people, of our democracy, succeeds in delivering on its mandate. I am emphasizing working together of the political parties because I believe it is very important that when we differ, when we disagree, we must not forget that the main thrust of this Parliament is to help South Africans to become a one country, so that even disagreements are done with respect and with that view in mind. By unveiling this statue, Parliament is declaring that we will continue to walk in Tata's footsteps, that we will continue to draw lessons and inspiration from his exemplary life, and that we will continue to honor his memory. May the spirit of Tata Madiba continue to inspire us all as we continue to build a truly non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa, one nation and one people. May the spirit of Madiba also inspire all South Africans as they vote yet again on the 7th of May. We urge our people to come out in their millions to celebrate democracy and freedom by casting their votes and casting their votes to the parties of their choices. We will be emulating what Madiba did when he voted for the first time at the age of 75 on the 27th April 1994. Distinguished guests, allow me to congratulate Parliament on this bold and progressive move of adding a powerful symbol to the legislative headquarters of the Republic. Mr. Speaker and Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, Parliament should expect throngs of people to flock to this precinct to view the image of their hero. We have experienced this in Pretoria. The numbers of visitors to the union buildings has increased since the unveiling of the statue of Madiba. Such is Madiba's magnetic pull. And recognition of his contribution to our country and the world. Happy 20th anniversary of freedom and democracy to all. I thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency President of the Republic of South Africa, President